So Vikrant, you can start now. You can start now. Yes.
Are we live?
Live Abhi. So let me introduce just a minute. Audio is working. Yes. So to all the audience, we are going to introduce you to Mr. Vikrant. So just some introduction would be given. Some introduction I think Vikrant would be giving of himself. So he's a mechanical engineer, and after that he went done even IIT Bombay as an energy systems and engineering. Okay, cleared UPSC engineering services at IES, and he has worked with deputy director in the Ministry of Power. Okay, that's great. I think that's a very unique profile we have. So the stage is all with Grant, and Grant will let us know how exactly he's going to uh, he shaped his journey. And not only that, I would be very interested in knowing that how after 8 years it got government banking, how he has decided to shift to the private space. Then the stage is over yours. I'm going to switch off my audio and video. You can start.
Yeah. Thanks, Vipul. Hi,
Your
everyone.
audio is not working. Audio, they probably will check.
Is it working now?
Just a minute. Yes. Yeah, you can start.
Yeah. Hi, Vipul. Hi, everybody. So, like Vipul said, I'm Vikrant Hello. So, I'm a ISB PGP candidate for the class of 2026. So, I just took admission in ISB. My classes just started 2 weeks ago. So, I think I'm at a very good place to talk to you about how to go about the admission cycle at ISB. So I will begin my talk by telling you about ISB and what ISB looks for in potential candidates based on my experience. Then I'll give you a tidbit about my journey to ISB and why I chose ISB over other colleges. And then I think we'll open the floor for Q&As. So about ISB, I think most of you guys know that ISB is one of the highest ranked colleges as far as MBA is concerned in India. So based on the 2025 Financial Times rankings, ISB was ranked 27th in the world, which is highest in India. It offers the flagship program that ISB offers is a 1-year MBA program. It is called an MBA, but technically it's just a certificate. So ISB is not recognized by AICTE or any of the government agencies, but it offers a postgraduate program in management. It is just a certificate that it offers, but it is recognized globally and in India. So ISB has 2 campuses, one in Hyderabad, where I'm currently studying, and there's another campus in Mohali. They admit a total of 800 to 900 people. So in the class of 2026, we are a total of 840 students. The average work experience that we have in our class is 4 years. The minimum that you require to get into ISB is 2 years. So they don't take freshers for the 1-year program. You need to at least have 2 years of experience if you want to get admitted to ISB. And the average age of the cohort is 26. Like Vipul mentioned, I am an outlier. I am 32 years old. I have 8 years of work ex. So, but that's the beauty of ISB, right? Because they have they admit a lot of people, and they don't place any significant, importance to one criteria. Like in IIMs, your CAT percentile is a very important criteria. So unless you get a 99.x percentile, there's no chance that you'll get into an IMA or something. But here they want to maintain diversity. So you will find people with all sorts of work experience, all sorts of backgrounds getting into ISB. It's just about your story, and that is why ISB is, I think, a unique MBA program as far as India is concerned. Since I've started talking about admissions already, let me talk about what ISB looks for, like based on my experience as far as your admissions is concerned. So I think ISB buckets your profile into 4 categories. One would be your academic orientation. So how well are you academically oriented to get into ISB. So since ISB is 1 year program and MBA, I mean, when you think of it, MBA, you feel that, yeah, there'll be a lot of, uh, uh, orientation on like networking and stuff, but it is a very academically oriented subject. It is a very academically oriented program. So you study a lot of quant-based subjects in 1 year, and I mean, they have 7 semesters which are cramped in 1 year. Your typical semester lasts for 5 weeks. So they're looking for people who can grasp the subject very easily and grasp the subject in a very short time. So your academic orientation becomes very important. So in academic orientation, they're looking for the college that you've attended so far, the marks that you've gotten, and also your GMAT score. That is a very important part of your academic orientation and the admission process as a whole. So out of 100 marks, I would say that 30-40% of the marks would be based on your academic orientation, that is your GMAT score and the college that you've attended, the marks that you've obtained in your graduation and your 10th and 12th, and so forth. They don't have a specific percentage in mind, but yeah, if it helps if you have graduated from a very good college and you have a very good GMAT score. The second would be your professional journey. So like I said, they don't admit freshers. You need to have at least 2 years of work ex. So your professional journey becomes very important, and also how you sell your professional journey. So like I come from very distinctive background. I have a public policy background. I was an IAS officer with 8 years of work ex. So I mean, what are you offering to the cohort? How are you different from the cohort? I mean, what are the learnings that you've had in your career so far, and what is your motivation to do an MBA? That is a part of your professional journey, and how ISB fits in your professional journey, that's very important. So you have to, I mean, for that, there are two parts. First, you have to draft a resume, and that's not a typical job resume that you draft. So you need to focus on the impact that you brought, and you have to have big picture thinking when you're drafting your resume. So it's not just I did this and this and this. It has to be in a star format. You have to talk about what was the situation in hand, what was the task that you were assigned, how did you solve that task, and what was the result, the impact that you brought with, and it needs to be pinpointed. So your resume is very important. Secondly is the recommendations that you bring. So I mean, I'm sure that if you worked in an organization, there are a lot of people that you've impacted and who are willing to recommend you for that program. So your resume and your recommendation become part of your professional journey. The third bucket would be your extracurricular and other activities that you've conducted apart from your work. So, I mean, at ISB, I've seen people who were like national level badminton champions who've been admitted to this program. I mean, there was a Telugu film actor who was a part of our cohort. So, if you think that you're lacking in other aspects of your application, this is one thing that you can maximize. So ISB not fixated on just getting like the people who have the highest GMAT score or people who worked in the best companies that are there. It is also focused on getting people from different cohorts and getting people from different backgrounds who have different interests. So based on that, I think if you have like distinctive extracurricular activities or things that you worked that you're passionate about, ISB would value that a lot. And the fourth and the final part is how you piece all of this together. So how does ISB fit in your journey? And the essays are a very good like precursor to that. So in your essays, you have to say that this is what I was doing and this is what I want to do, and how would ISB help me from getting from X to Y. So you want to maximize on that, and I think that is the most critical part of your application. Like how does ISB fit in all of this? So in all the other three parts, in your academic orientation, in your professional journey, in your extracurricular activities, you just talked about what you've done so far. But in this final part, you talk about where do you want to reach, what are your goals in life, and how will ISB help you achieve those goals. So these are the four key aspects of your journey, and I think that they're very important in helping you get there. Uh, for me, what worked was like I said, I come from a very distinctive background. So I'm sure ISB felt that I could add something to the cohort. And I also tried to maximize on my academic orientation part. So I had a good GMAT score that really helped me get into ISB. And I was fortunate enough to even get a scholarship here. So briefly about me, I'm Vikrant, like I mentioned in the beginning. I worked in the government of India for the past 8 years. I was an IAS officer, still am. I'm on leave for 1 year to complete this program. So I've worked in the Ministry of Power for 8 years. I've basically worked in like sectors related to energy access, where we've tried to improve the per capita electricity consumption of the country, decarbonization, where we've tried to increase the renewable energy in our energy basket. And lately, I was also working for the hydropower sector, basically related to improving our energy diplomacy with neighboring countries like Nepal and Bhutan. So that was a brief about me. And I think I've covered most of the things that ISB looks for. I'm happy to take your questions. Yeah.
So I think the first question should come from me only. Yes. So, Vikrant, 8 years of working in the government, and still you're working with them.
Yeah.
What exactly is the future looking at? Just like, you both the things are good in a way, but then also leaving one thing can, it's a very big decision you have to make. So what exactly is going in your mind?
Yeah, so I mean, ISB made that decision very easy for me. It offered me a scholarship. So actually, I'm not paying that much out of my pocket. And I'm also getting like paid from the government to attend this program. So wasn't a very difficult decision that way. But I mean, working in the government for 8 years, I realized that like I'm very passionate about the energy sector, and I know that this is something that like energy transition and net zero and climate change is something that we really need to solve for. And I knew that I have a policy background and I know how the government makes a decision. But if we really want to like solve that problem, the private sector needs to step up in a very big way. Like we can't just like be handing out doles. It has to come from, I mean, all the energy transition and all the buzzwords that are there, they need to be not just environmentally sustainable, but they need to make sense business wise also. So I knew the policy part of it, but I really wanted to understand the business part of how we can solve for climate change. And that's why I'm here. That's why I
Basically, the question was like sabbatical wouldn't carry for long.
yeah.
So अब क्या होगा? मतलब what I understand of the whole thing is, in the government, you are much more in a better position to make changes. Reason
Yeah.
being, it will straight away impact the ground.
Sure.
Private sector is not linked to the ground. Rather, they are very concerned, very focused upon the profit orientation is the main target, not the ground reality or anything. So, वो तो just like if I'm talking about not only the power and the full scenario, it's a very in a way, I would say, if I give the same choice to, let's say, 100 people, 99 people are going to choose the government IES, a deputy director kind of a role compared to, because it is not only that role which is important, it is the augmentation which comes with it. For example, you may say that the collector and SP have this kind of a, ये उनकी salary होता है, but then also the augmentation जो साथ में carry हो रहा है, so that is also a valued proposition which has to be pointed. So थोड़ा सा मतलब it brings a lot of excitement, and I would love to see how it all goes up in the future, 5 years or 15 years down. I would like to see how this profile runs. I'll keep on looking in the LinkedIn for that.
Sure.
So Vikrant, even one more aspect which I want to talk about is, even after the graduation, आपने IES you cleared, and then you went for the PG after clearing the IES. Am I correct in that?
No, I wrote my exam in 2015. So the IES cycles takes about a year, and I wrote the exam in 2015, and then I opted for a PG in 2015 itself. So I was pursuing my PG when I got my final result that I'd got an admit. I
PG would be 2 years, isn't it?
yeah. I took
आपका
a
तो सर्विस आ जाएगा 1 साल में आ जाएगा.
हाँ नहीं, मैं 6 months का मैंने फिर एक्सटेंशन लिया था. So
अच्छा.
I delayed my joining by 6 months so
हाँ.
that I could complete my post graduation.
So Vikrant, when we talk about the GMAT, you scoring C 770. What was the breakup in the Q and the V?
So I scored a 770 in the classical format. My Q was 51 and I think my V was 42.
So what is the thing you did, because it's close to being 100 percentile, rather it is a 100 percentile. So what exactly you did which was different from others? Like 100 percentile is a top 1% of the population you must win. So what exactly you did different?
I think, I mean, for Indian candidates, I think the quant part is relatively easier. Like I was contemplating between GMAT and GRE, and what I learned is that maybe the quant part is harder in GMAT compared to GRE. But for Indian candidates, because we've been like exposed to a lot of like quant heavy subjects in our graduation and stuff, I thought that the quant part would be easier if I opt for, like, even though it is harder than GRE, but I can maximize on the quant part if I opt for GMAT. That's why I opted for GMAT. And quant part mein, I didn't think that there was any like topic that was new to me, but it is just dependent on how you like approach the exam and how you prepare for it. Like the amount of time that you spend on each individual question, that becomes important. In the verbal section, like in the classical format, there were like 3 subparts of that. One was reading comprehension, one was verbal reasoning. So reading comprehension, it was mostly about like there's a verbal like comprehension that you have to read, and then you have to answer like 4 or 5 questions. So the way that I was approaching it was that I would read the comprehension and then I would go to the question and then I would again go to the comprehension again, the topic again. So that was taking a lot of time. So the thing that switched for me was that जब एक बार पढ़ो आप पूरा comprehension, so you read it in such a manner that you don't need to go back to it again, because I think you get less than 2 minutes to answer each question. So अगर आपका comprehension के बाद 5 questions हैं, तो you get a total of 10 minutes to answer the comprehension altogether. तो आप अपना comprehension इस तरीके से पढ़ो कि you read the comprehension in 4 or 5 or 6 minutes, whatever, but इस तरीके से पढ़ो that you don't need to revisit it again, and then you can like answer the questions in the first go. If you like see the questions and you go back to the comprehension again and again, it was taking me a very long time. So, and also the like whether to answer the quant section first or the verbal section first, that was also a very important thing as far as maximizing my GMAT score is concerned. So
and you also had the sentence correction at that time, I think.
Yeah, sentence correction was also there. Sentence correction was very technical. So I mean,
Easy
that
to
is the one part. That is the one part that will require a lot of effort. That used to require a lot of effort back in the day. तो उसमें तो आपको पूरा ही जो भी आपके रूल्स वगैरह हैं वो आपको दोबारा देखने पड़ेंगे. But other than that, I think most of us know what reading comprehension means, what the quant section is all about, what the other sections are all about. तो उसमें बस आपको रीओरिएंट करना है. यू नीड टू मैक्सिमाइज ऑन व्हाट वर्क्स फॉर यू. सो यू नीड टू ट्राई डिफरेंट अप्रोचेस. तो मैंने जो मॉक टेस्ट वगैरह थे उसमें मैंने डिफरेंट अप्रोचेस ट्राई किया कि ये करूँगा तो कितना टाइम लगेगा, ये करूँगा तो कितना टाइम लगेगा, कौन पहले करूँ तो मेरा दिमाग, मतलब जब मैं वर्बल पे जाऊँगा तो वेदर आई बी एग्जॉस्टेड और नॉट, इफ आई ट्राई वर्बल फर्स्ट, वेदर इफ आई गो टू क्वांट वेदर आई बी एग्जॉस्टेड और नॉट. तो ये सब करके बैलेंस करके I opted for a like optimum strategy that will be different for different people.
So I'm picking some questions from even the students. So one of the question which I think is very important is how the motivation with the working. Now, if a person is working, he's coming to the home might be at around 7 or 8 in the evening, and then most of the time people try to unwind themselves at that time. And I think you are doing a second objective you were carrying at that time. So what exactly you have advices for all the people who are working and still they're going for GMAT, and most of the peak times GMAT people are the people who are already working somewhere. तो वो कैसे उसे मोटिवेशन कैसे रखें, वो टाइम को कैसे scheduling, how they should be doing it?
I think मेरा थोड़ा और भी डिफिकल्ट था क्योंकि my office started at 7 and I had to like
Office at 7.
sorry, office ended at 7
अच्छा.
and I had to commute for an hour or so. So my office started at 9 in the morning. So I had to commute from like I was staying in Gurgaon, my office was in Delhi. So मैं मतलब 1 घंटा ट्रैवल करके जाता था and like 8 o'clock morning में निकलता था and I would reach home at 8:30 in the evening. So it was more than an or 12.5 hour shift. But like I said, like motivation वाला ही बात होता है. Like end of the day, I think what differentiates you from other people, like everybody has skills, but what differentiates you from other people would be your motivation level. And obviously motivation levels go down like with age. So when I started working, when I started thinking of like attempting the GMAT, I knew that I would have to work extra harder than other people because I have a distinctive profile and I need to maximize.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to
And you
maximize.
bring a big diversity in the group. Rather
Yeah.
में ऐसा कोई होगा नहीं मेरे ख्याल से group में. Do you have any
I
people?
think ISB admits around 840 students, and out of which people with 8+ years of work ex would be around 40 or 50. So,
नहीं है, मैं एक आपकी प्रोफाइल एक आप ही के बैच में there is one superintendent of police.
oh yeah. Ranathi.
I had a talk with that fellow even. So थोड़ा सा मतलब अगर आप जर्नलिस्ट पब्लिक को बोलें तो they would be very surprised.
हाँ मतलब लाइक आईएसबी का ये ब्यूटी है लाइक मतलब where GMAT score helps is that मतलब because I was able to get a good GMAT score, I also ended up getting a scholarship here. So the cost for my MBA is almost half of what it would have costed if I hadn't got a scholarship. And it will also, I mean, from what I've heard, it will also help you in recruiting and stuff. So I mean, GMAT is, although it is only 20 or 30% of your application, the school is admitting you, but it will take you far. So, I mean, my advice is if it is one thing that is in your control, so other parts of the application process are very subjective, like your resume or the essays that you write, even the interviews that you give are very subjective. So this is just one indicator. Jisme everything is under your control. So, and it is not just there for your like application getting admitted to college of your choice. It will also help you in the recruitment process as well. So, if it is under your control, you should try to maximize it, and it will not take much time. Like I think if you devote 2 hours daily during the weekdays and maybe 6 hours during the weekend, you can like maximize your GMAT score in 2 or 3 months. So that is what it took me.
What my observation is, I talk to many of the students. When you talk to the people who have, who are not up to the mark, you will have n number of points, they would be having. But whenever you talk to the people who are already, 100% and all, they would be having very simple answer. Comprehension होता है, देखना होता है, एक बार देख कर ही आंसर करना होता है. It brings one thing very clearly, that actually it is the clarity and the strength of the mind which is playing the role rather than anything else. हम क्या करते हैं, when we are not achieving, we are finding n number of points. उस दिन ऐसे हुआ था, कोविड हो गया था, उस दिन बारिश हो गया, मतलब so many points they would have. टीचर ने पढ़ाया नहीं, टीचर ने यही स्पेसिफिक सीआर में 2 ही चैप्टर्स पढ़ाए थे, 2 ही क्लास लिया. There are n number of things which will come, but when you talk to the people who are 100% and all, they would be saying, अच्छा comprehension था, इसको मार्क करना था, ऐसी था, वो बड़ा ग्रामर केस था, टेक्निकल था. They will be having some simplistic way you put it. अच्छा, now let's wind it up now, and I would like you to give your bye kind of an advice to each and every person who is in this. I think 1.5 people, I think 1500 लोग आपको देख रहे हैं. So I would like you to tell them what exactly you want to say.
So I've been at ISB for 2 weeks now, and like I was very apprehensive before coming here. So like I'm older than the average cohort. The average cohort age is 26. I'm already 32 years old. I'm also married. Uh, I have a very distinctive profile. So I was not sure if like I would gel here, and like what would I bring to the cohort and stuff. But like in the 2 weeks that I've been here, I feel like I've been rejuvenated. Like it feels like a second life or something. So an MBA, I would recommend it to everybody just for the experience, not even for the learning, just based on the kind of people that you meet. I would recommend that everybody like who's like in two minds whether to go for an MBA or not, I would say just आप अपना पढ़ाई करो, अपना GMAT score maximize करो, and just apply for it. It will be the best year of your life, based on my experience of 2 weeks. So that is my advice to everybody. And you can always reach out to me. I am on LinkedIn, Vikrant, and yeah, you can talk to me anytime. I'm available here. So yeah, that's all.
Yes, we can. Last point from me even. So, just I'm 10 years older than you. So, first of my just point, make your decision very with lot of thinking. Okay. जो चीजें दिख रही होती हैं वो ऐसा ही नहीं होता, वैसे ही होता है. So I wouldn't. The point what I'm making is हर चीज में ना when you enter. I always tell even students and even my kid even I tell that हर का ग्लास आधा भरा है और आधा खाली है. तो हमेशा हाँ आदमी को क्या होता है कि इसमें क्या गलती है, तो आई वुड सर्च फॉर ए न्यू थिंग. आई अंडरस्टैंड बट माय पॉइंट इज मतलब थोड़ा सा बहुत ध्यान से क्वेश्चन से. आई हैव सीन मेनी ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स लाइक यू इन द पास्ट. I still recall one ISRO scientist, same kind of a deputy director kind of a role. Just like deja vu हो रहा है मुझे मतलब आपसे बात करके. And he used to look much like you. Okay, with the beard and everything. And the same thing, मुझे उस समय भी अब then he moved to the same ISB, GMAT, and then he even after ISB he went for one more MBA in US, I think top 5. I'm not recalling the name. The point what I'm saying is, you understand what I'm trying to say. हर को मतलब जब दो थाली हो ना, दूसरे के थाली में you will feel the roti is bigger. तो थोड़ा सा टेक योर डिसीजन वेरी मतलब विद लॉट ऑफ थिंकिंग. क्या ऐसे कि मैं एक बार ट्राई करके देखता हूँ, लेट मी गो इनटू द जॉब. डोंट लीव इट, मतलब गवर्नमेंट पे लीव मत करना और सबैटिकल लेके 6 महीने जाके देखना. व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज थोड़ा सा हैव ए 360 देखिए. चलिए ठीक है, क्योंकि टॉकिंग टू यू ज्ञान व्यान खत्म. एंड इट वाज स्टूडेंट्स आई थिंक would have enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it a lot. चलिए बाय बाय, सी यू.
चलो, see you.